You ever have a memory that feels like it's welded into your brain? Something so strange, so impossible, that you doubt it even happened, until you realize you can't forget it, no matter how hard you try. That's what this is for me. It's not just a weird story or some childhood dream. It's a scar that never really healed, even though I've spent years trying to ignore it. I've never written this down before, never told anyone outside my family. Even now, as I say this, I'm leaving out the where and the when. Maybe I'm still scared of what might happen if the wrong people hear this. Maybe I'm just scared of remembering too much, of opening a door I've kept locked for decades. It was the summer before 8th grade. I was 13, right at that age where you feel invincible, like the world is yours to explore and nothing bad can ever really happen to you. Me and two of my closest friends, let's call them Mark and Danny, had this plan. It was simple. We were going to sneak out around midnight, meet up, and just wander the neighborhood. There were these girls we knew having a sleepover a few blocks away. We thought maybe we'd get brave enough to go knock on their window or something. It was just summer mischief, that feeling of freedom you only get when you're a kid and it's warm out and the rules don't seem to matter as much. I remember every little detail of that night, at least up until the moment everything changed. The air was warm and heavy, the kind of night where you could smell the grass and hear the crickets. The streetlights made these little yellow pools on the sidewalk, and every now and then a car would pass, headlights sweeping across the houses like searchlights. We were whispering and laughing, trying not to wake up any dogs or set off any porch lights. I remember Mark had this old flashlight that barely worked, and Danny kept daring him to shine it at the houses as we passed. We felt invisible, like we were the only people in the world awake at that hour. We turned the corner onto Oak Ridge Drive, and that's when everything changed. It's strange how a single moment can split your life into before and after. 1 second, we were just kids. The next, we were staring up at something that should not have been there. There it was, floating above us. A giant black blimp-shaped thing, like the Hindenburg, but way bigger. I'm not exaggerating when I say it was at least 4, maybe 5 football fields across. It was so close, it felt like you could throw a rock and hit it. But at the same time, it was impossibly huge, like it was pressing down on the whole neighborhood. I can still see it if I close my eyes. The surface was completely black, but not flat or dull, almost like polished gunmetal, smooth and cold and somehow alive. There weren't any lights, no windows, no markings, just this enormous silent thing hanging in the sky. It didn't make a sound, not a hum, not a buzz, nothing. Even the crickets seemed to go quiet. It was like the whole world was holding its breath. We just stopped dead in our tracks. I remember my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I whispered, "Do you see that?" And Mark said, "Yeah." And Danny just nodded, his mouth hanging open. We kept asking each other over and over like we needed to be sure we weren't dreaming. But we all saw it. We all knew it was real. We must have stood there for a full minute, maybe more, just staring. I remember the way the edges of the thing seemed to shimmer against the sky, like heat rising off asphalt. But it wasn't hot. In fact, the air felt colder, like the thing was sucking the warmth out of the night. My skin prickled with goosebumps, and I felt this strange pressure in my ears, like when you go up in an airplane. I wanted to run, but I couldn't move, none of us could. It was like we were frozen in place, not just scared, but held there by something we couldn't see. I tried to look away, but my eyes wouldn't listen. It was like the thing was staring back at us, even though it didn't have eyes. And then, nothing. I don't know how else to explain it. 1 second, we're staring at this impossible thing, and the next, it's just gone. I don't remember it leaving. I don't remember blinking or looking away. It was just there, and then it wasn't. The sky was empty except for this little glowing thing, like a tiny barbell, drifting down from where the ship had been. It was glowing white, with little wisps of smoke curling off it, almost like a sparkler burning out. It moved so slowly, almost floating. And I remember feeling this weird mix of relief and confusion, like my brain was trying to make sense of what had just happened. That's when the truck showed up. Out of nowhere, 2 black pickups came roaring down the street, going at least 70 in a 25 zone. They were shiny and new, with big silver boxes on the back, like toolboxes, but sleeker, almost military looking. No headlights, no license plates I could see. They didn't slow down, didn't stop, just tore past us and disappeared around the corner. The sound of their engines was so loud after all that silence, it made me jump. After that, everything felt strange, like we were moving through water. We didn't talk, we didn't laugh, we just started walking, slow and quiet, back toward Danny's house. I remember looking at the sky every few seconds, half expecting the thing to come back, but it was just empty. The stars blurred by thin haze. By the time we got back, the sky was turning gray and the birds were starting to sing. We slipped inside without saying a word, crawled into our sleeping bags, and stared at the ceiling until the sun came up. We promised each other we'd tell my dad in the morning. He worked for the city, and we thought maybe he'd know what to do, or at least believe us. But when the morning came, none of us said a word. Not to him, not to anyone. It was like the words got stuck in our throats. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, staring at my cereal, and feeling like I was carrying a secret too heavy to lift. I lost touch with Mark after high school. Danny and I stayed friends for a while, but we never talked about that night again. Not even once. It was like we made a silent pact, right there on the sidewalk, to never mention it. Even years later, when we reconnected online, it was always there between us. This invisible wall we both pretended wasn't there. Sometimes I'd see his name pop up on my phone and wonder if he was thinking about it too. If he ever told anyone. If he remembered it the same way I did. Looking back, it still scares me. Not just the ship or whatever it was, but the idea that we couldn't have been the only ones. This was just after midnight, on a summer weekend, over a crowded suburb. Hundreds of houses, people awake, lights on, dogs barking, but not a word, not in the news, not in the paper, not on TV, nothing. It's like everyone just forgot, or chose to forget, like we're all suffering from a kind of collective amnesia. Except I remember. I know what I saw, and I know my friends saw it too. Sometimes I wonder what really happened in that gap, in those missing minutes. Did we lose time? Did something happen to us that night we can't remember? I've read stories about people who get hypnotized and suddenly remember things they've blocked out for years. Sometimes I think about trying that, just to see if there's more hidden in my head. But honestly, I'm not sure I want to know. I was just a kid. And what if I can't trust what I find? What if it's worse than what I already remember? But this much I know. It wasn't just us. There's no way. That thing was huge. It was right there, in the sky, over a whole neighborhood. Someone else had to see it. Someone else has to remember. I've spent years looking for stories like mine, searching online, reading every article and forum post I could find. But it's always the same. Nothing. Like it never happened. Sometimes I wonder if the trucks that showed up were looking for us, or for whatever that little glowing thing was. I wonder if someone else tried to talk about it and got scared off, or worse. I wonder how many other people are out there carrying the same secret, afraid to say anything because they know no one will believe them. If you're out there, if you saw it too, I hope you remember. I hope you know you're not alone. Maybe one day enough of us will speak up and the truth will come out. Or maybe it'll stay a secret forever, just a strange scar on the inside of our minds. Thanks for listening. I needed to get that off my chest. I'm older now, but that night still feels as close as yesterday. I don't know if I'll ever really understand what happened, but at least now someone else knows. So thank you.